Console wars. They're a funny little thing. Obviously, I've been very deep in console wars for a large number of years, and if you followed my channel, you probably realized that it's something that I don't take too seriously or personally. Like early on in the days when I started doing YouTube, I was just doing silly little reviews, and then I did one video back in 2013, and it was something to the effect of, I'm buying an Xbox One instead of a PS4, and as you can imagine, things kind of blew up from there. I got a lot of hatred out of that video, and I was just like, I don't understand. I'm buying a game console based on the games that they showed off that weren't available on PlayStation. It's the exact same reasoning that I use to this very day. Okay, it's not that it's not this huge preference where I hate one or the other. I mean, yes, I was probably having a little bit of fun at PlayStation expense early on, and then I had fun at the expense of Xbox later on in that generation, but it's just one of those things where you have fun in it. And a lot of people know to have fun with console wars. But when it comes down to what Microsoft and Sony are doing, they both kind of shy away from it, but they both do it in sort of roundabout ways. Microsoft will take some shots at Sony. Sony will take some shots at Microsoft. And the funny thing is that then they'll kind of bash the fans for doing that, for tribalism or anything. But tribalism and console wars and having fans is sort of what keeps these companies going in the first place, though. That's the funny part to me, right? If you want to make it 100% honest, is that they need a certain amount of those people to rush out there and buy their stuff no matter what, and to defend that stuff no matter what. Now imagine early on I'm sitting there trying to talk about why I like Xbox, enjoying Killer Instinct and Titanfall and Forza 5 and Dead Rising 3 and Sunset Overdrive in year one, and I'm sitting there having to defend Microsoft against PlayStation over the most ridiculous things. It wasn't having anything to do with the games, because PlayStation was like, we don't really got much. We've got Killzone Shadowfall, and we've got Resogun and Knack. I mean, that was it. So we were forced to kind of argue about stuff like 1080p, 720p. And it kind of sucked, because the focus wasn't on the content, which was actually really good. If people would have just focused on the content from Microsoft, they would have seen how good things were going, with the games. And maybe we wouldn't have had, we wouldn't have what we have today, but maybe we would have something a little bit more traditional. I don't know, that's kind of my look at it. But this bit of news right here is definitely something that really kind of took me by surprise when it happened. Microsoft is responding to how upset some fans are over something, and I just thought, man, they don't even have to respond, in my opinion, but they did anyway. But I want to get into it, and hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from this. I'm the Crap Gamer, and of course this is Crap Gamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice some changes around here, but hopefully that doesn't stop you from giving us a like, and possibly, maybe, even consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me today. It means the world. I know you guys are also busy with family, friends, work, school, what have you. I'm just so appreciative of each of you. And all I ask is a simple like. I've been putting in a lot of extra work on these videos and things like that, trying to make them better, trying to improve, and hopefully that comes through to you guys. So we know, and it's still going to be news, and I'm expecting some big news to break this week as well, because that's the way this whole year has been so far. But the interesting part about this is, and I thought that this was a very interesting situation, a lot of people at Sony and a lot of Sony fans were very upset over the acquisition of Activision by Microsoft. And it's got a wide variety of reactions for people, ranging from the games that Microsoft now owns. And one of the things that really kind of ticked people off was the fact that, it's just kind of funny that to think that Microsoft owns Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, which were traditionally two things owned by or not owned, but they were PlayStation exclusives at one point and highly regarded as PlayStation exclusives. So now when we kind of look at that, we sit there and we go, oh man, that's crazy. And one of the things that people got really ticked off about was Aaron Greenberg, the general manager of marketing at Microsoft. He's gotten his own bit of controversy due to his Twitter account. The account is a normal Twitter account for the most part, but the controversy mainly is due to his avatar, which depicts Crash Bandicoot doing an X gesture with his arms, and Greenberg is next to him also doing a gesture, which has gotten some gamers upset about the possibility that the avatar was intended to dunk on Sony or might hint at Crash being the Xbox exclusive now. Now, in response to the controversy, Greenberg explained that the avatar was only intended to celebrate a fan creation rather than being an attack on Sony. He went on to say that he often uses such creations, which he does, on his Twitter profile, and this is just another instance. He's one of the only people, many different people affiliated with both Microsoft and many Activision studios that have changed their title profiles to celebrate the acquisition, as Microsoft has also gone on record saying that not only would it make several games exclusive, but that studios like Toy for Bob will also be allowed to develop the games that they want to. Considering the huge amount of negative press that Activision has gotten over the past few years, it's not a big surprise that so many are celebrating that someone other than Bobby Kotick is now in charge. And Blizzard Entertainment has already announced a brand new game, unaffiliated with their other IPs. So yeah, it's very interesting to see that so many people are kind of bringing this up still, right? I know this was like kind of a big deal back in the day, but again, the thing that I would say is basically, why should he have to apologize for this? Whether, whether somebody agrees with it or not, right? I don't understand why somebody would really just kind of get ticked off about this. And the main reason why I would say why get ticked off about it is because the guy changed his thing, and people and fans on both sides get excited about it. I see, and even if he was dunking on PlayStation, quote unquote, who cares, right? Like, are we really that? Listen, if you're watching my channel, know this, that I hate I hate a lot of how the internet is and how all this stuff is. You can't say anything. Everybody's offended about something. Nobody was complaining when Sony was doing a little, here's how you share your game video, right? That was dunking directly on Xbox. Or when they were sharing, here's the difference between 720p and 1080p, and say that 1080p make you a better gamer. Again, nobody cared. Even going further back, Microsoft was dunking on PlayStation clearly when they said that Halo outsold every PlayStation exclusive combined that year, right? There's nothing wrong with that stuff. Who cares? Who honestly cares? I just think that it's so funny that so many people are up in arms about this stuff, and at the end of the day, it honestly just doesn't matter. And we just keep seeing this stuff happen time and time again where people are pissed off, and I honestly do not understand it at all. I don't understand it, and I hope that we get to see some kind of change where people stop being so offended. Listen, you have the right to not be offended, right? Like, I'm just being honest. You have the right to totally not be offended. And I think the sooner people kind of get that through their heads, the better. And it's not just like, as a person, like when I first started doing this and I was really into like, I kind of come across as a bit of a jerk or whatever, kind of being that character. I really had looked to some like disc jockeys like Shock Jocks, and I grew up listening to that kind of stuff, and so I was kind of being funny in that kind of manner, and you can't do that anymore, and it's kind of sad. And I'm not saying that you got to put down people or things, but I just think that it's sad that we live in a day and age where people are like, well, I know one thing, we definitely can't talk about religion, we can't talk about politics, we can't talk about this. It's like we're teaching our young that we can't talk about any of this stuff because it upsets people. Well, guess what? People should get used to being upset and just being okay with that, right? Because everybody's entitled to their own opinions, and I just hate the fact that we've kind of changed as a society to be where we are, and it's just really unfortunate that like, listen, for me, I'll listen to anybody's opinions. Whether I agree with it or not is inconsequential. Now, at the end of the day, I might disagree with you, but you're totally entitled to your opinion, okay? Not everything has to be canceled. Not everything has to be this or that. Like, honestly, that's making things so much worse in the world today that it's not even funny. And I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from with that. It's just ridiculous to think that people kind of look at these things and go, you know what? this is the wrong thing. You think differently than me, so you're not allowed to have an opinion. That's the wrong way to look at this kind of stuff. Who cares if even if he was dunking on PlayStation, right? Who cares? You know, the PlayStation fan that cares about that, did you care when they were doing it to Microsoft and, and like completely destroying Microsoft and the Xbox brand potentially back in 2013? Helping to facilitate that. I mean, no doubt Microsoft kind of did that to themselves too, but Sony helped facilitate that. I mean, did you care then? It's like you got to have that same kind of thought process when it comes to both. All right? That's pretty much all I kind of got to say to that, though. But, he shouldn't even have to explain himself over that. It's so silly. Quit being so easily defended. Thank you so much for watching. Please have a fantastic day. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up. Thanks for watching. Crap gamer out.